You're listening to the IMT Show with Mike Sims. Now here is your host.
One of the things that about this forum is it allows me to express and talk about a number of subjects, and I do plan to hit on a number of things. Hopefully, it won't it'll capture your interest, and that you'll follow along with what we have. Like I say, it's a little bit about me. A little bit more about me is that I'm one of five kids from JD and Marie Sims. And my dad, like I say, my dad was a Baptist preacher, and he was different than a lot of preachers in that he was more critical of his own religion than many others. He really he really delved into knowing the facts about things, and I think I've gotten a lot of that about from him. Is I analyze things a lot. I study things a lot, and things interest me. I want to know how people, what makes people tick, how people came to those conclusions, and why they believe what they believe. Not that I'm always searching for answers, but not that I have a great need for a number of answers, but it is to know uh, why why they came to those conclusions, and why they're at where they're at. It fascinates me. I may not agree, but I don't really. That doesn't really matter to me. I want to know. I really want to know what people think, and why they got there. So that aspect I think I inherited from my dad. I have I'm the youngest of my siblings. The closest sibling to me is my brother Bob, which is 10 years older than me. So they were all grown up by the time, I was 8 years old. So my oldest sister is Gloria, and I didn't get to see a lot of her growing up, but she's she's there on Facebook, and checks on my stuff, and once in a while will comment, and it's very interesting. Social media has brought a lot of people together, including lost family members of mine. So my uh, next in line would be Daryl, and Daryl's an interesting character. He's a full time UFO researcher. He's been speaking in probably just about every country in the world. He's had his own TV series, several of them actually. He's been on a number of other established series, from sightings to ancient aliens, and you name it. His own series that he was co-hosted with three other people, called Uncovering Aliens, didn't last very long, but it got good ratings, and it was actually, for a UFO show, was very, very interesting. In the mid '90s, I worked with him and helped him with his marketing and his website, and producing his videos. He has quite a following, quite a following. There was one radio interview he did, that within an hour we had 400,000 hits on his website. So it's it's an interesting journey with him too. I can remember us coming home from at his house from running errands, and he would check his answer machine, and there would be the voices of known actors leaving him messages. He had producers that were wanting to do work with him on movies and things that didn't work out, but he's quite known, quite famous in that world. I've actually walked into bookstores and had people talking about him, and employees at my job mentioned that they've mentioned him, and just at random, and didn't know that I was his brother. So, uh, hopefully we'll have him interviewed as well here. He's quite a dynamic character, and it's always interesting when we all get together, me, him, and Bob, especially when it comes to Monopoly. You'll never see a more rampant game of board game ever played when it's the three of us there, especially. Bob is he's more low key than I guess than me and Daryl, but he is uh, I've I've always had a lot of fun with Bob, and he's always been helpful and very very smart in the way he advises things. He's definitely an expert on certain subjects that he studied himself, and for he's kind of helped push. I can't speak for Daryl, but for me, he's helped push me in certain ways, and and one of the things that he was the first person to ever suggest me to write books back when I was a teenager. He read short story I wrote about time travel, and told me that it needed to be a novel, and I thought he was just being biased, and I didn't take it very serious, and I didn't know where to go or what to do about books anyway. So it's I didn't pursue it, but I wished I had have. I wished I had took his advice back then, and I probably would have had everything that all my short stories that I have, which is a number of them, in books right now. So it's um, it's definitely been uh, an honor having all my these people in my life and and helping me along and encouraging me. So I also have a my sister Sue, which is used to spoil me when I was a little kid, and she actually came to Austin, and she lived in Houston at the time. Came all the way to Austin just to take me to see a movie that she just absolutely said I had to go see. She was a big sci-fi fan, and that movie was Star Wars, and it blew me away when I first saw it. So I've never forgotten her coming all the way down just to take me to that movie.
Vicky's destiny is on a path that collides with powerful people. She's an avenging angel to some, but a Valkyrie to others. Valkyrie, available at Maseroth.net and your favorite book retailer.
And my mom has been, she's always been a rock in my life. And, my dad worked a lot out of town and commuted a lot, and he had to follow where construction work went. So it was a lot of times it would just be my mom, and she always took care of me very well, and even humored me when I was very very young. And speaking of my brother and the UFO thing, when I was a kid, I was fascinated with UFOs as well. I used to clip newspaper articles and had magazines and so forth. And at the time in Austin, there was a man by the name of Ray Stanford, and Ray was a scientist, and he had a team of undergrad students, and he had a setup a lot like Dr. Alan J. Hynek with and his grad students ended up doing with after Project Blue Book. And Ray was he was quite an interesting character. He was actually had grant money from the government to study UFOs, and had some sophisticated equipment he had developed himself, and wrote some books about the Socorro UFO event and other things. I think he's still alive, and I think he still has books, still signing books out there. But he was a really nice guy. He moved to Austin and based his Starlight Project International UFO group in Austin. I used to go to his meetings. Mom would take me to his meetings, and she patiently would bore to death with to listen to the stuff that didn't interest her. But she would humor me to let me sit up front and uh, and listen to him. And I got to meet Bruce Maccabee, which was a famous ufologist at the time. And it was it was very interesting because I made I faked a UFO photo and took one of my models. I had lots of models of Star Trek and Star Wars, and even made my own. And I faked a UFO picture with my 110 camera and took the picture to him. And he thought it was very interesting. It was obscure enough that it kind of looked like a UFO, real UFO photo, whatever that means. But he came back later with a photo and said that he wasn't sure that it was real or not. He couldn't prove it either way, but but he felt that it could be real. And then I admitted to him that I had faked it, and of course that kind of embarrassed him. But I told him my purpose was not to embarrass or fool him, but I wanted to see, like I say, I like to analyze people and how they think. Is that is could somebody of his caliber in education, a scientist, could they be fooled? And he was. And I realized that in that field of study is that you almost have to be kind of gullible, because the what you're studying is so fantastic and so unusual that people, if you don't, if you're critical, you're going to miss things that maybe is real. So you have to be real open about things. And um, and so the UFO people and that study that stuff, they do get fooled once in a while, and then people get onto them and think that they're not very smart or very good, and it has nothing to do with it. It has to do with being open minded and accepting, because it is a strange phenomenon. So he the rumor has it is that Ray had uh, gained a lot of criticism, and his group and his UFO studies kind of disbanded. He went back to his first love, I guess, which was archaeology, and ended up finding a dinosaur bone that actually altered and redefined uh, the modern theories of evolution. So he was pretty well vindicated at the end, which was good for him. As I was mentioning and talking about, what my brother does for a living, and studying UFOs, and it's in the mid '90s. I guess he was probably that was probably the most involved in high traffic of his career. In that he had a lot of interaction with a lot of people, especially in the Hollywood scene. Yeah, he still does very, very active in it and doing interesting things all the time. He goes to Roswell on their uh, annual pilgrimage. It seems when they do the anniversary thing there, it's a big event. It's a big thing to go to. But he's got a lot of compelling evidence, and even to the most critical mind, he has he's had even governments send him reports and evidence to get his take on it. So he's been taken quite serious. He's actually been inducted in a museum in Japan, and a number of other things. So he got around. I made a number of videos, produced a number of videos with him, and we ended up, as life happens, we ended up having to go our own ways and do our own things. One of the things that I missed out on that I really wanted to do with him at the end of my tenure with him there was to create a DVD video. I had some new interviews with him and some new information. And we are going to do some question and answers from some of his biggest super fans. And we also managed to, I was talking with Richard Hatch at the time, who is known for playing Apollo in the original Battlestar Galactica series. And Richard and I had been conversing in email for a number of times, and he's talking to me even about the new Battlestar Galactica series. Had his own opinions about it, and then ended up being on the show, playing a character briefly. So he was wanting to narrate the DVD. It was all for it, and we were all ready to go. And then things, a lot of things in life, they fall apart, and we didn't get to make it. But unfortunately, some years back, Richard had passed away, and I really I miss the conversations we had. He was a very, very cool guy. Really, really enjoyed him.
Listen, Mike Sims, it's Tom Arnold. Let me tell you something. Congratulations on your book, Southern Cross, reaching #1. My kids, Jackson, Quinn, you know what we do every night? We get out in the pool there where we live, and we look up at our favorite game is to look up at the stars. And in your book, that boy in Mexico, he does the same thing, and that's the connection to all of us, because they're the same stars, and that's really an important thing. And when I'm in New York, like I am right now, New York City, I tell my son in Los Angeles, you go look out that window, and you'll see the same stars, same moon, same thing. And that's our connection. And I like that science and the universe, that you can put that in a fantasy story, or whatever it is, fiction, but it's good to have that, and it's good when an author like yourself puts that in there for kids, and then does a little something to remind kids that stuff's important, and also to remind me, oh yeah, that's where because I was telling my kids, the Big Dipper guys, being kids, your dad. It's wait a minute, where is it? Because Beverly Hills got so many clouds up there. You go, wait a minute, where is the Big Dipper? In Iowa, I grew up on a farm in Iowa. You can see it's big sky country. But then you gotta go, wait, where is because my kids are 6 and 4. They're in school. I'm like, where is that thing? So I had to rework myself and learn myself where what's what. But there's nothing more fun than looking up there and counting the stars with your kids and and getting reconnected with all that up there. Anyway, good luck to you. And, Vicky, this powerful woman that you created that is kind of a B word, good luck with that on TV. I don't know. I don't know if I've ever seen a woman like that on TV. Good luck to you.
Thank you for listening to the IMT show with Mike Sims. The views expressed by guests are their own, and their appearance on the program does not imply an endorsement of them or any entity they represent. The IMT show is an opinion show and not to be taken as serious personal, legal, tax or financial advice. It is meant as entertainment only. IMT show, Mazarov for Mike Sims is not responsible for ad content. For more information on show schedules and content, visit www.mazarov.net/IMT.